Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to some more Keep the Heroes Out unboxing. So here we have two things. We have a little mini expansion called Playing with Fire, which adds a new monster for us to play as. And then we have the Underground Market game mats, which are optional game mats if you like, just to help make your game a little bit more thematic and maybe help sort the game out a little bit more. Always 100% optional to get something like this. It's more of a cosmetic thing. So let's first of all head in and look at the expansion first, because that's the brand new content, fully new content. So we get a little Play with Fire expansion. We've had little mini expansions before. We've had the Unicorn and the Cthulhu one. So they're, hopefully they don't. It's neat when they add little extra ones. It's really a cool idea. But hopefully we might get some more like maybe bigger expansions with like 3 or 4 characters. Or even like maybe combine some of these small ones for people that don't want to pick up one box at a time. But yeah, they're really a neat way to kind of add some minor things while they're working on bigger things. So I think that's the idea. Is like they're probably working on. They made a couple to kind of go with the next expansion. They did this kind of with the playmats. It gives you something without having to wait for like one big giant expansion every like 3-4 years. They could release something every year. So this will bring the Emberlings as playable monster and 3 promo packs. We have Year of the Dragon, and I hope I'm going to probably say this wrong, Quote, and the Very Jolly pack can be shuffled, playing all available scenarios. Obviously, a core set needs to be played for this. Yes, you get some of the promo packs that you may have gotten from conventions or from the other campaigns beforehand. But it's also a neat way if they add these little expansions is like, hey, you pick up a new character, you're going to get the promo cards from, various other things that you might not have gotten before. So it's a really fun way to be able to do that. So if we go like this, we get 3 brand new Emberling tokens and 5 fire tokens. So they're going to be, they're going to be kind of cool. So definitely, like, nice little idea. And how big are they? They are, I believe, considered to be small size. So as a comparison to some of these other ones, they're about comparison. Like, there's a mouse. There's a slime. I'm just going to put some of the other ones out here. I'm trying to see if one of the big ones are. Like, there's the dragon, which is one of the big ones. If we have a more of a medium-sized one in here. A skull. So it's kind of the idea of what roughly how big they're going to be. Cool. So I'm gonna toss all these guys back in the box. For now, set that out of the way over there. Alright, so what do the Emberlings actually do for us? Alright, so here's their card. Let's zoom in on that a bit. So when they spawn, or when you play them, they're going to spawn into these sword areas. Just as a reminder for our text. Yes, we have ambush. Summon a number of monsters in the room matching the depicted type, and summon the between 3 monsters divided between the sewers and the beast trainer rooms. So this could be any of the 2 sword rooms. But it also has a fire icon after it, which is a new ability called Arson. We'll get in just a moment. Here it's showing we have 3 of them. We have our 1 card and our 10 cards in our deck. And its activate ability is you can discard a fire token. Because you're going to do this, place a fire token. And then you also get discard a fire token, so they can throw a fire token to then use as a ranged attack, like a fireball. So that's very cool. And on the back there, just reminds you how to play the game. So what do we have here? So we have Emberlings, our small firebrand monsters can set fire to the dungeon on fire. Fire is a resource that can be carried around the dungeon or destroyed by warriors or any other effects that may target or destroy resource. So they're the same as like the books, the potions, the frogs, the bones, everything else. It says after Emberling plays their tactics card, Tactics cards before the hero space, each Emberling and each fire token in the dungeon must burn to stay in the dungeon. So that being unique burn mechanic. So how does burning work? After the Emberlings have played all their tactics cards before the hero space, you must resolve the following for each fire and or Emberling in each room. Deal 1 damage to a hero or a boss, discard a resource, or discard a trap card, or deal 1 damage to a monster. If a room has no flammable objects that can be targeted, the fire burns out. You must remove the fire or Emberling meeple from the dungeon and return it to your supply. So where you put them is going to be and how you move them is going to be very strategic, because if you play one and then you don't bother to have it where it can burn something, then it's just going to go away and it's kind of a waste of a turn. So like here's showing this, it says fire hazard. If there are no other flammable targets, but you have monsters in a room, then you must burn them. So you have to be careful not to move in the same room as your other monsters. Otherwise you don't burn them. Now, I think the one exception is a Emberling can't burn itself. I would assume, so it's any other monster. If there's nothing in the room to burn, then the Emberling or the fire will burn out, and they remove from the dungeon back to the supply. And what I mean by that is, I guess, like, if there is an Emberling and a fire token, I'm going to assume that the fire can't burn the Emberling, the Emberling can't burn the fire, so it's just going to fizzle out and go away. And then the same idea as the fire would go away too. I guess it's either they don't set on fire at all and you can't burn them, and that means both of them would disappear, or you could, but it would mean you'd have to sacrifice one to the other, which is a very possible thing. If you want to keep your fireling or your Emberling, you'd have to get rid of the fire, you'd have to burn the other fire to keep itself alive, or the fire could consume the Emberling to keep itself alive. You'd only get to keep one, because then the other one would be gone before it could activate. They don't really make that clear, but I would assume that it's just considered a resource anyhow. That's probably how it would work. Then the last thing on here is we have 2 new actions. We have the little fire icon, which we did see. So when you place your guy, you get to play the fire icon, which is arson. Place a fire in the same dungeon room as one of your monsters. And then we have its activate ability. It says activate discard a fire in the dungeon to make a ranged attack. So very, very cool. So interesting new type of character to see how they play. Alright, then we have their deck of cards. So we have 3 of this one, which is going to say summon 1 into a spot, then arson. So then you get to play an arson there. Or you get to activate. Oop, I can actually zoom out a little bit there. So there's 3 cards that let you do summon and then or activate. We have 4 of them that have move twice or activate. And then we have 3 of them that are defense, then arson or move. And of course, the defense, again, in case you don't remember, is when a hero attacks the same room as the dungeon. As a reaction, lower their damage by 1. And they only have 1 HP, so as long as something doesn't hit them for more than 1 HP, they can survive. Kind of because I looked at it as they're getting burnt to the touch, so they have to be pretty strong to be able to attack a fire guy. So that's it. They're very simple what they're going to do. They're just going to try and play these fire tokens and move around the board and obviously lob them at guys, take guys out at a distance. But you have to be willing to consume resources or get them in the room to heroes, and if they can be in the room as heroes or bosses, they can just do extra damage each turn. If you're just sitting in the same area and then if they can play the defense, that's even better, right? If they get into a spot with a hero and they have defense, also now the guy tries to attack them the next turn, they're not only going to take damage from attacking them, they also need to play a fire thing, so in your next turn you already have something to either throw at them if they moved, or if you defeated them, take the next guy, or you have something to burn them right away. So that's pretty cool there. Alright. That's what we have. Very simple, very quick little character thing. Then we're going to look at the 3 promo sets. Now, I went over the Year of the Dragon before in a previous video, because I bought the promo from, like, a campaign thing. But we're going to go over that one again. So it has 4 cards. Each promo pack has 4 cards of the different types. So we have a scroll card here for summoning, which is going to have the portal launch. You can place a portal, or you can place a resource, move, and then attack. So it's either do you want a portal out to help you move around the board quicker, or do you want to place a book, move, and then do an attack. For a potion, we have attack, or we have the reinforce. I'm sorry, that is, yeah. The top 3 cards of your tactics deck, put the one back that matches. So you're going to look for a card with a book on it. So that'll help you find some stuff in there. So now it doesn't really help the Emberling at all, but it might help somebody else you get. Here we have our equipment card, which will have a defense, or swarm your meeples into a spot with a book. Or swarm. All your monsters don't perform the action. Yeah, they just spawn a book, is that right? Yep, place a book. So you just swarm a book somewhere. So all your monsters just summon a book. And then the last one is we have this windmill creature. I'm sure has a name, but it's a pet. Which has the draw a card. Put it into your hand. And you can place a book and then activate. So like always, these promo cards are a little bit different than all the other things. They're pretty extra bonus things to do. They're usually themed around stuff. I'm sorry, this was not Year of the Dragon. This was, I'm going to put this up here for everybody, Kujot. This is Kujot. I had these in the wrong order. So this is one I haven't went through before. So that's pretty cool. Got some neat new cards. Alright, then we do have Year of the Dragon, which we're having equipment, which is the fireworks cannon. So it's going to let you place a trap and then swarm at ranged attack. We have a potion, which is a dragon fruit, which lets you ranged attack or search your deck for top 3 cards of your deck for a scroll card. We have the Eastern Dragon here. Is a pet who lets you draw a card and then range attack or move twice. And that scroll is a dragon scroll. So if you create a portal, or you get a move and attack at range twice. So that's pretty cool. Then our fourth one is, or our third package, we have the Very Gully, which is the Christmas theme set. So you have some milk and cookies for a potion. The top 3 cards draw an equipment card, or heal a damage point. For Santa's Boots is our equipment. You get either move and place a portal or swarm to move all your guys. Then we have, for the scroll, we have a Christmas card with some money in it. Lets you place a portal or summon 2 guys into the sword space and place a coin. And then for the pet, we have a snowman monster, which lets you draw a card and place a trap or double attack. So these promo cards are always fun. There's, if you get this little box, you're getting 9 brand new cards. These are cards that then you can pick up throughout the game to bolster your deck, making everything just a little bit more exciting. Alright, so that is what we have for that. So let's take a look at our game mats. Alright, so the underground game mats are going to consist of a few different things. Like I said earlier in the video, they are all optional. So we're going to get a bunch of tokens to use with the game. I'm going to kind of set those off to the side for the moment. We have our component sheet in our setup. So we are going to get a marketplace spot, 4 layers, 1 for each player, a bunch of threat tokens, incursion tokens, and your difficulty tokens. So let's take a look at the mats before we get. Now there's a spot in here to store all our different stuff. I'll look at that at the end of the video and kind of show you how that'll work. Let's take a look at our mats. I've not even opened any of these up yet. So bear with me for a second here. Let me set these guys off to the side here on the floor. Alright, so this is our marketplace spot of the game. So this is when you're playing against the enemies. During the game, you can set everything up. So that way you have all of your stuff. So if I'm taking my various hero cards, I just grabbed chapter 20 here. You're gonna place them up here. And then you have your discard pile. So it's just a spot to put everything so you don't have to think about it. And then here's going to be where all your brand new equipment is going to go. So like if I have all my new cards, I'm going to shuffle up my, my equipment, my item deck or whatever it's going to be. And you're going to place it over here. And then you can have your cards all flipped up as your marketplace. And then, more spots. You have one extra spot here. You can have a spot here if you need one for the first card. But yeah, it lets you kind of have all that sorted out. Then you're going to have a spot here for all your tokens. Now, I can figure out where I put them. If you have the regular cardboard tokens, you can go ahead and just stack each one of them up in there. But if you have the Cozy Dungeon wooden bits, you can also stack those in there too. So you'd stack like some of your traps up in here. We'd have our books. Grab a frog. I'm only going to grab a couple in there. We have a piggy bank for our coins. We have some bones. Nope, those are hearts. And then we have scrolls, which I'm not for sure what are supposed to be in the scroll spot off the top of my head. Portal tokens. So if we have the actual tokens for the portals. Grab those out of the box. Oh, right there. Yeah, so otherwise, if you have, like, your regular tokens, you can go ahead and pop those out. But yeah, then you can pop out, like, all your portal tokens, right? And you can set those on there, too, if you want to have a spot for those, because they're scrolls that you would summon. And then, like, this is a spot, if you have bosses you're going to fight, you can go ahead and put those guys over there. So that's pretty neat, just setting up all this for you, so that way you're like, hey, we have a marketplace that we're buying from. We don't have to sit there and play around. Now, the other part is this top center and this top corner up here. So the top corner up there is going to be your difficulty. So previously, it was these 3 big cards. I still have all mine in the thing. But yeah, like for various difficulties you want, you just have your different tokens, your big cards that you need to set your deck on top of it. Here you don't have to do that. Instead, they replace them with little tiny ones. So you just pop one of these out and you put this up here instead of then having to pull out that big card as well and set the card on the playmat. So it's nice that they've reincorporated that. Then the other thing that's really cool is we have a spot here for our different summons. Our different enemies we're going to fight against. So like we could put our warriors, our mages, our thieves, and our rogues. And then they do have the upgraded version tokens for all of them as well. So if you are playing with upgraded versions of each of these characters, you can use those. As well as they have some for some of the other characters. And then we have our impact ones. And as well as like if you're playing with like the rookie expansion from the other expansions. So yeah, this kind of lets you set these guys up. But then what you do, I'm not going to pop out all of these. But you have your 4 different types of rooms they get summoned to. So then the idea is supposed to be, for the incursion, is if the warrior, for example, gets summoned into a sword room, I can move this down here. Now I can quickly visually tell by looking at the board, oh, he can only be summoned to one of those 3 rooms left. So right there, they're kind of showing it on the board there. That's sort of the idea. Then you can have like your exclamations if you're supposed to have a certain number of that for the challenge. You can have those set aside as well. It's just letting you kind of, again, you're going to have all these tokens out. Like, you're not going to have these tokens necessarily, but you have your character tokens, so you can have them stacked up, ready to go. On the board, you can easily tell which ones you're fighting against, which is kind of cool. So I know if I'm summoning him to a different thing. If you have the expansion, the guild expansion, with our meeples, you can definitely use those guys as well. So I could have these guys stacked up on there instead. If you want to have them up there. And then you'll still have, like, your 4 other regular tokens. So it's saying, like, these are my incursion ones. So I have one of these guys on there, so I know it's spotted, but I can stack the other 5 up there. So you guys put one of these tokens on here, and then that way I know as I grab my meeples, that's the one I'm going to take. So yeah, very, very cool there. The only thing they don't have, like, a spot for all the different tokens are anything for the treasures. But those are either going to be on the board or not on the board. So that's very simple there. Where did I put the instructions? I just set them down here, right here. So yeah, and it just kind of breaks down all these, like, rookies don't start the incursion tokens, instead they gain them later. Your guild discard pile is information. In doubt you ever exhausted the correct incursion token, feel free to double check. Skeleton is used for scenario 15 in the core game and 29 in the boss battles expansion. Slimy Bureaucrat is used for scenarios 19 in the core and 27 in the boss battles. So that's why they added those in there, so you have the extra little meeple on there, and then you actually use the wooden meeple as the character for the thing. But that's why they also have some extra slots in there too, in case they ever add some more guys or whatever. So that's as simple as that is. It's a really neat way to, like, just organize your game, and then as you play your cards, you can put them there. If you have a boss, you have them over there. You have their health tracker, their levels, all that stuff. You have all your meeples stored. Obviously, the meeples are going to take up more room in here than the other ones, but there is only 4 tokens of each, I believe. 5 of each, so it's not going to be too terribly bad. So I'm just going to grab, like, 5 frogs because I got them. So yeah, if you stack up all 5 of them, it's not going to be too terribly bad to have them there. But it's better than just having piles laying on the table, I guess, right? So very, very cool there. I'm going to toss all of my expansion stuff back in the little tote here. Alright, then we also have our player mats. So let's put all these back. Alright, then we have our layer. So then all 4 mats are going to be the exact same. They didn't make different ones for each character. But they're going to be where you can put all of your other cards for the game. Which I have already misplaced. There. So if I am playing my new Emberlings, which we just saw, I'll take my Emberlings deck, I'll shuffle it up, I can put it right there. Guy kind of matches that guy for us. So notice here, I put all my extra guys down there. I have extra resources, like my fire ones, I can put them down here as well. Kind of keep track of that. Sorry, I think actually they go up there. I have that in the... They go down here, and then where is the main card? The main card goes there to keep track of all that. And then my discard piles here. So I have all my tokens kind of sitting down here at the bottom. So I know when I need them. I have my character card. I have my tableau up here. So as I'm playing my turn, let's say I draw my first 3 cards. As I play my cards, I can put them up here. Just gives you a little play area to play your own deck. And then when your turn's done, anything you play goes into your discard pile. The little trash can on it goes down there. And like this thing has a little deck on it. Lightning bolt showing your play area. Little heart showing your character with their health. And obviously if you're using... if you needed to keep track of health because they have more health, like the dragon or something, you could put the tokens on there. And then the little bottom here shows the meeple, shows where you keep all your meeples. This area could have been a little bit bigger because there are a couple of guys that have a bunch of stuff. But again, it's not that not overwhelming a big deal. And that's just your setup for that. So nothing super long about that, but definitely a nice little extra thing to have in the game. If you're like, hey, we just want to, like, new player here, just here's where all your stuff goes, right? Here, player cards here. Do you need this? Absolutely not. I think the marketplace token is a better thing. I like that for the general stuff for everybody, because it's like, now everything that everyone has to interact has a spot. A little playmats, like if they wouldn't have all came in one box, I probably wouldn't have bought these separately. Just because of the fact that I don't think you really need this, because it's just pile wherever I play my cards. But it does kind of help maybe keep the game a little bit organized. Keep your cards here together, keep your stuff here. So very cool. And although I do have to say that, like, if I'm going to buy a playmat for a game, I would rather have it spot per card, spot per card, spot per card, like play area, versus it just being like, here's a playmat with a picture of the game on it. Put your cards wherever you want. Because if I'm going to bother to spend the money to get an actual playmat designed for a game, I would rather have it telling me where to put it, because it helps for teaching or early people that are learning how to play the game. As opposed to just being like, put the cards wherever. Like, I'm just going to put them wherever. I can just do that on my table. Or I could just go and grab a, Pokemon playmat I have, or a Magic the Gathering playmat, or some other generic one I have sitting at my table. Or I could just buy a blank one if I don't want pictures behind it. So, definitely nice. Although neoprene mats are also nice. They're a little bit easier sometimes to pick up cards off of. Especially if you have to slide them, plus you're not stuffing up on your table and stuff. Alright, so the last thing we want to look at is, let's fill that box up and see what that looks like. Alright, so here's how I place the tokens in here. Now, one thing I always keep in mind whenever you're placing tokens into boxes is, there is generally not always a correct way to do it. So you could kind of mix these however you want to. I do wish that if the developers or designers of the game, when they're making these, would be like, hey, this is how we think, we made these spots for these tokens, this is how we think the best way to do it. And obviously people can change their mind. They just sang, like, with that sheet, they would have had, like, a second sheet just being like, hey, here's how these tokens go in here. Like, even if it wasn't labeled and it was just a picture of it, like, they filled the box like this and then they took a picture, like, you'd be like, now I understand what you're talking about. Sometimes you can go to, like, with the crowdfunding game, you can go to their website, look up updates. They might have one showing it. This is obviously not as complicated as some of the other ones. Sometimes you have games where you have to, like, put this one here and this thing there. But I just get started out to 5 different types of tokens. I put the advanced and the special guys in one. I put the regular and the event ones in the other one. I put my long ones in there. Very simple. And then you have your big mat there. You have your small mats that can then now lay on top inside here. Are they supposed to go this way? Yeah, they're supposed to go this way. They're just kind of probably not laying on top of each other 100% accurate. Then you throw your thingy on top, and you throw the lid on there. Where did I put? I got too many game boxes here. So there's our underground market. Yeah, so very nice. I do always say this for, like, most of these games. I would rather be like, you have the core box set, then you have the boss battles, plus you have all these mini expansions. There's not currently a big box solution to put everything together and have it all sorted out. Even like the regular big box version of the game. If I pop my stuff out of here, right? I have all the meeples jumbled in here, I have all the cards just mixed together in there. There's a spot down there on the bottom down here for all the tokens, but then unless you have little badgies, then the tokens are all just kind of sitting in there anyhow. They didn't make little trays. I can at least say for the underground market, like, although if they made a big box for everything, it'd make sure nice if they had space in there for that, but I could see them not doing it because not everyone would buy it. But this would be like, if I don't want to use these extra things, if I'm not using the playmats, I'm not going to need the tokens if I'm not using the game mat. So there's no reason to have them mixed together. So I can definitely see this being a separate box by itself. So, alright, that's what we have. We have the Underground Marketplace game mats. If you're looking to kind of upgrade your game, make it a little bit fancier, you can definitely do that. I think the incursion tokens that could be very helpful, and the game mat could be nice to help people like know where stuff is at. And then, of course, we have the Playing with Fire, the new creatures we can get. Also, don't forget, if you haven't, you can go check out the online version of Keep the Heroes Out. Check out the digital version of that on Steam. I thought maybe I had a link on the back for it. I have played through some of the demo. It's really fun. I didn't actually own the full copy. I was playing through the demo initially to learn how. But yeah, you can go download the demo of it, at least give it a shot. I think it's a very great interpretation. They're still working on it, improving on it, so it might not be 100% fleshed out. It might not have every single thing in it. But it's definitely worth checking out if you want. Maybe if this game is interesting, you're like, do I want to buy it? Go try the online demo. See if you like how the game plays. If you do, you can keep playing it on there, or you can pick up the physical copy. I don't think the expansions are in there, or any of the expansion characters are in there as of yet, but hopefully they'll come in the future. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye.